Hi, this is Chuck Oliver. Welcome to this week's Hidden Wealth Solution Review. Well, I'm going to try to go through this quickly, but the topic is of vital importance, and that is don't let taxes have an impact of creating curveballs and let alone a major cannonball of threat to your retirement savings. I think of clients that have been reaching out, in particular this week, a younger number of clients, let's say in their 50s, which I've not seen this many reach out. So kudos to you for taking a proactive stance on this by never being too early or too late to get a head start to be tax smart around retirement, that have now said, Chuck, look, I see the impact of taxes on my parents. I see the impact and I don't want that. And I see the writing on the wall because clearly with this drunken sailor spending, 4.7 trillion of additional taxes being proposed in the new fiscal budget, and the government just not willing to cut this deficit or this budget, folks, the time to act is now. And I think of a really good article out in Money Magazine this week that talked about that. It was kind of interesting. It was titled, Americans Aren't Saving Enough for Retirement, and All Taxpayers May End Up Paying for It. So here's the long and the short of this. It is projected by 2040 by the Pew Institute of Research that there'll be about a $1.3 trillion shortfall because of the subsidies that different states and the federal government are going to have to provide for those that chose not to make retirement planning a key focus, which means for those of us that did make it a focus, we get saddled with the check. And folks, I want to prevent and teach you how you can prevent you having to receive that check. And here's how you do it. I'm going to be teaching this coming Tuesday at retirementprotected.com. That's retirementprotected.com. A number of strategies that allow people to go from a perfect taxpayer to a low tax or a no tax retiree. And it doesn't matter whether you're trying to get to retirement or you're saddled with some of these taxes and you're staring at them and you don't like it and you're trying to find just a better way through retirement. It's never too early and it's never too late, as I said again, to get a head start, to be sure that you're being tax smart, especially with the writing being on the wall. Let me give you a good example of what can happen, and I'll leave you with this. It is projected in this study that within 17 years, there'll be 46% more retired households than working households. Now, that should tell you everything you need to know about the shortfall of tax collection, Social Security being paid into, and Medicare being paid into. And it wasn't that long ago that you actually had to have earned income, and your income couldn't be over $100,000 to be able to convert your IRAs to Roth IRAs. And that could come back and likely come back soon, because that could be a cannonball that the government implements to come after our retirement savings by saying, we're just going to prevent you from getting your money untaxed so we can take more of it. Well, I want you to think about this. A client of ours, unfortunately, lost his life to cancer. And his surviving spouse is now in her required minimum distribution age. And this required minimum distribution, especially going from a joint tax filer, which is a tax penalty, to a single tax filer, has moved from a joint 22% bracket to a single 32% bracket. And the impact of that, with the idea that she did not take the initiative to convert IRA to Roth IRA, is causing between federal and state almost an additional $30,000 of taxes, just jumping brackets from going from joint to single, and because of the havoc that this required minimum distribution plays, which could have been prevented, mainly because, in fact, there was another tax that went up, the Social Security, the Medicare tax on the Part B and Part D, that is penalizing her on extra almost $400 a month or almost $5,000 a year. So all told, we're talking over $30,000 a year of things with proper tax planning, right, that could have been prevented. And for those of you listening, a big root cause of this I talk about on Hidden Wealth Radio was the pension choice, because they had a choice of a monthly payout or a lump sum. And taking the lump sum, not in all cases, could have prevented a lot of this, especially jumping from a 22 to a 32% bracket. Folks, you work hard for your money. Let me teach you how to avoid not just the curveballs, but also the unexpected cannonballs. In the study that I talk about on the radio, 75% of the 12,000 retirees interviewed, 75% of them had actually experienced a cannonball, death of a family, something that could not have been prevented, a change of a tax law. Folks, you work hard for your money. Retirementprotected.com, retirementprotected.com.